I didn't mean for it to sting. It was supposed to be funny. Just a light jab during our friend's dinner party, laughter bouncing off the wine glasses and soft jazz humming through the air. But when I saw the way Ethan looked at me, calm, hollow, as if something inside him had just turned off, I knew I'd gone too far. Maybe if my husband actually knew how to satisfy someone other than his clients, I wouldn't have to buy batteries so often, I said, laughing too loudly, my glass of red trembling slightly in my hand. The table erupted. Everyone howled. Everyone except Ethan. He didn't laugh. Didn't even flinch. He just watched me. His lips pressing together like he was swallowing words he didn't trust himself to say. Then he smiled, a slow, detached curve that didn't reach his eyes, and said, "Well, at least someone's keeping you happy, even if it's not me." The air went still. It wasn't his words that silenced the room. It was the tone. Controlled. Polite. But there was something behind it. Something final. I tried to laugh it off. "Oh, come on, babe, I was joking." He only nodded like he'd heard enough and turned to refill his wine. That was the moment something inside me cracked. Not because of embarrassment, but because I suddenly felt the ground shift under me. The way he looked at me, it wasn't hurt. It was knowing. And I had no idea how much he knew. When the guests finally left, the silence between us was unbearable. The scent of grilled rosemary chicken lingered in the air, clashing with the sour tang of spilled wine. I started cleaning up, clattering dishes just to fill the void, but he sat at the table, swirling the last of his Merlot like he was studying a secret in its depths. "Ethan," I said softly, "you know I was just teasing." He looked up at me, his eyes tired, empty. "You always say that, Claire. Every time you cross a line, it's a joke." My heart stung. "You're overreacting." He tilted his head. "Am I?" Something about the way he asked it made my stomach twist. "Ethan, please. Everyone jokes about their spouses." He interrupted me, voice steady but cutting. "Then why did you say that joke? Why that one?" Froze. I didn't have an answer. Not one that didn't sound like guilt. Because jokes sometimes carry truth. And mine carried more than I wanted to admit. 2 weeks ago, I had lunch with someone I shouldn't have. My coworker, Daniel. We'd been growing close. Too close. Bonding over our shared resentment of corporate life and long hours. He made me laugh, made me feel seen in a way Ethan hadn't in months. It wasn't physical. Not exactly. Just a long lunch, lingering touches when our hands brushed over the table. His eyes holding mine for a second too long. But emotional betrayal. That's harder to hide. Harder to forgive. And Ethan noticed everything. He rose from the table now, his voice calm. "I need to ask you something." I felt the blood drain from my face. "Okay. Do you still love me?" The question was so soft it almost broke me. Of course I do." He nodded slowly, as if testing the weight of my answer. "Then tell me the truth." My pulse hammered. "About what?" He looked straight at me. "About Daniel." It was like the world blurred for a second. The sound of the refrigerator hum faded. Even the ticking clock seemed to hesitate. What about him?" I whispered, my voice trembling. "I saw the messages," he said quietly. "The ones you thought you deleted." I staggered back a step. My throat tightened. "Ethan, it wasn't." "Wasn't what?" His voice rose, the calm cracking. "Wasn't real. Wasn't wrong. Wasn't worth being honest about." Tears burned behind my eyes. "I never slept with him." He laughed. Bitter, hollow. "You don't have to sleep with someone to betray me, Claire. You just have to give them what used to be mine." I couldn't breathe. He was right. Every secret text, every private smile. It all flooded back, and I saw how each moment chipped away at what we once were. "I was lonely," I whispered. "You were distant, always buried in work, always somewhere else." He was there. He listened. "So you punished me by humiliating me in front of everyone?" His eyes glistened with fury and grief. "You wanted to make me small because you already made me disposable." No, I cried, shaking my head. That's not true. It is, he said quietly. And I'm done pretending otherwise. He walked past me, heading for the door. Ethan, please. I reached for his arm. Don't leave. We can fix this. He stopped, his back to me. You already did leave, Claire. You just forgot to pack your bags. Then he was gone. The next morning the bed felt too big. Too cold. His scent was fading from the pillow. I sat in the kitchen staring at the empty wine glass from last night, the one he'd left on the table. Sunlight caught the rim, throwing fractured reflections across the wall, like splintered memories of what we used to be. I replayed every moment, the careless joke, the laughter, his silence. All the little signs I ignored because it was easier to believe we were fine. Now, the house echoed with what I hadn't said soon enough. And maybe that's what betrayal really is. Not just the things we do, but the truths we refuse to face until it's too late. Ethan's words kept replaying in my mind, quiet but sharp enough to scar. You already did leave, Claire. You just forgot to pack your bags. He was right. Because somewhere between the loneliness, the laughter, and the lies, I'd stopped being his wife and started being someone else entirely. And the worst part, I hadn't even noticed until the moment he stopped loving me back.